Hey, welcome. So let's talk about a word you probably use all the time without even thinking about it: market. It seems so simple, right? But what if I told you that this one little word is actually a key that unlocks everything from your local weekend bazaar to the entire global economy? It's way more complex than you think. And get this, the word market is officially on something called the Basic English 850 list. I mean, that's a list of the 850 most fundamental words you need to know to speak English. It's supposed to be the absolute bare bones core vocabulary. So, you'd think a word on the basic list would be super straightforward, right? But is it? That's the big question we're digging into today. How can one of the simplest words in the language carry so many different and honestly complicated meanings? Okay, so first things first, let's look at market as a noun, as a person, place, or thing. But as you're about to see, even just looking at it as a thing isn't simple. There are actually four different layers of meaning, and each one gets a little more abstract than the last. First up is the one you can probably picture in your head right now: a physical, actual place. We're talking about a farmer's market, a town square, a bustling bazaar, a place you can literally walk into with stalls and people and things to buy. And this sentence just nails that original meaning, doesn't it? It immediately paints a picture of a very specific, very physical place where farmers trade livestock and crops. This is the OG market, the one it all started from. Okay, so hang on, because here's where we take our first big jump into the abstract. Market can also mean an entire system for trading stuff that doesn't really exist in any single physical spot. The classic example? The stock market. It's not a building, it's a whole concept. And you hear this all the time on the news, right? When they say the market rose, they're not talking about a building literally lifting off the ground. They're talking about this giant invisible system, as if it's one single thing that has good days and bad days. For our third layer, the meaning shifts again. We're not talking about a place or a system anymore. Now, market means people, specifically a group of potential customers you want to sell something to. Like, are you going after the youth market, the luxury market? See, in this case, the farmers aren't looking for a new building to sell in. They're looking for new people who will buy their grain. The market here is an audience, a collection of consumers. And now we've reached the most abstract version of the noun. At this level, market isn't a place, it's not a system, and it's not even a group of people. It's the demand itself. It's a way to measure all the economic activity around one particular product. This is exactly what people mean when they talk about market share. The company doesn't own 54% of a building, and it doesn't own 54% of the customers. It controls 54% of all the money being spent on commercial jets. It's a pure economic idea. So we've got the market as a thing, a place, a system, a group of people, or even pure demand. But what happens when market becomes something you do? Let's switch gears. All right, now let's look at the action. What does it mean to market something? This is where the word really comes alive. So to market something isn't just about, putting it on a shelf. It's really two big things. First, you make it available for sale. And second, and this is the crucial part, you actively try to convince people, that market of customers we just talked about, that they need to buy it. And this example from the pharmaceutical industry is just perfect. A company doesn't just invent a new drug and hope people find it, right? No way. They spend a fortune to heavily market it with ads and sales teams. That action, that is marketing. And of course, once you have an action word, you get a whole family of other words that pops up around it. The process is marketing. If your product is easy to sell, it's marketable. And the person doing all this work, well, that's your marketer or marketeer. The action creates its own little world. Okay, so we've got the market as a thing and the market as an action. But believe it or not, that's still not the whole picture. This one basic word is the root of an entire ecosystem of ideas. It's kind of crazy when you stop and think about it. We started with a simple physical place to sell cows. And from that one basic seed, this massive tree of economic and social language has grown. It's incredible. I mean, just look at this list. Every single one of these describes a totally different world with its own rules and its own players. You've got the illegal black market and the idealized free market. You've got the optimism of a bull market and the pessimism of a bear market. It all comes from the same simple root. So where does all this leave us? We've gone on this pretty wild journey from a physical field to abstract economic theories, all from one so-called basic word. So what's the big takeaway here? And this is really the magic of language, isn't it? A word like market isn't simple because its meaning is small. It's simple because it's such a powerful, flexible core concept that you can use it to describe a tiny farm stall just as easily as you can use it to describe the entire global financial system. So I'll leave you with this question to chew on. If one of the 850 most basic words in the English language can contain this much complexity, just imagine how many other everyday words we use are hiding their own secret universes of meaning. Makes you think, right? Thanks for tuning in.